See, this first part of the game, I'll be honest, I don't really care for.
This part of the
because
game...
Because there's nothing going on.
This part of the game and the last part of the game.
Yeah.
Everything after you get to the ship in the game is complete and utter shit. The whole fucking game falls apart.
I mean, think about the first Resident Evil. By this point in the first game, you already knew at least one enemy that you were fighting. Right now, this is kind of hey, something might get me type of thing.
And that's something we'll get to when we actually get to enemies, so maybe the next time we play. But, and see, that's not scary. That wasn't even scary the first time we played. You didn't even jump at that.
No. I've seen it multiple times, but even the first time I didn't. But that's because of the bubbles. If they had not had the bubbles there that warned me something was going to happen,
yeah.
I was expecting it.
So I did play a horror game in VR. I played the Until Dawn VR game, which is basically a rail shooter. So you're on like a carnival roller coaster cart kind of thing, and it rolls you around through like a fun house, and you have to shoot at these demented clown things, and trophies and a variety of different things, balloons, and you score. It's just a rail shooter basically, but it relies 100% on jump scares because it's just about things popping up at you. And the one thing that VR does is that because it gives you a range of motion, so you can turn to the left and you can turn to the right, something could come up and attack you from the right while you're looking to the left.
And
thank God I found you.
But it's just a jump scare. It's just a jump scare.
Ethan?
Are you all right?
And so that's why VR wasn't that, at least in that game, was not particularly effective. Now I don't know what the rating on that game is, like how well it does with audiences in general. I don't know how popular it is.
Did anyone see you?
But
did he see you?
Who else is here? What the hell's going on?
Daddy's coming.
I didn't think it was that.
We need to go now.
I obviously wasn't scared. But again, I get it. That's a subjective thing. My problem with this game is that outside of having the title Resident Evil,
someplace safe.
It doesn't do anything that is even remotely similar to the rest of the series. It's just a generic survival horror that is...
Has it really been 3 years?
Basically mooching off of the title Resident Evil. Because it sold a lot of units simply by having that name.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do anything that is particularly much like the rest of the series. And when we actually get to an enemy, we can discuss how bad the enemy design in this game is.
What'd they do to you?
Not now. We need to get out of
and I
here
will be
first.
honest, once we do get
I
to
think it's this way.
first enemy, which I believe is Jack, and that's another thing, they don't start you out with any basic enemy. It's like one of the boss guys from the beginning. So
basically,
they want to make you feel like he's chasing you
basically,
around.
they were like, what if everything that chased you was the nemesis?
Essentially. And that's the only thing, once I get past that part, the game is more enjoyable to me, because then it feels more like the originals, because you're exploring around, trying to scramble for ammo, stuff like that.
I'm telling you everything that I know.
But I would also say...
We have to go this way.
This right here, like here's what they need to. Here's what game developers need to keep in mind. They need to keep replay in mind. This kind of shit in a game makes it almost unreplayable. Like, why do you want to watch this kind of shit over and over and over and over and over again? The first time you play a game, yeah, this works out, and I understand that you're going to develop for the initial experience, but have replay in mind, because if you want your game to do well, it needs to have replay value most of the time.
They could do, there's, I can't remember many off the top of my head, but there's a couple newer ones where it's stuff like this, even though you actually move during that particular cutscene, or this particular, because basically it's a scene.
Like, this is just a reverse escort mission.
Yeah, they'll let you skip.
So on subsequent play, like if you were to load up a save game, it'd let you skip all this?
Yeah, I can't remember what game it was doing that on, but I really liked it.
Oh,
because
not this game.
Not this game.
Okay.
There's another door here. I'm sure of it.
This game, you have to do this stuff all the time.
It's not here. It's gone. It's gone.
E001.
Now that you're here.
We'll get to you later. Look, and it all. That looks like her.
Stop wasting time.
I'm not.
Oh yeah, you can't do anything until she actually causes the scene to happen.
Yeah. That's the problem with this whole first part of the game.
I thought you were... I forgot you're not supposed to trigger something.
Just stay here, all right? I'm gonna have a look around.
And I'm sure in the original games, there's probably something similar to this, even in the replays where you have to replay stupid shit like you have to watch the opening cutscene in the mansion, which why, you know? But again, that was also limitations at the time. Like this, it just takes too long to get to the core of the game, you know? I will say this, though. The game looks nice. But outside of being pretty, I don't... To me, the game has really nothing going for it. And that healing... Yeah, we'll get to it. There's probably about half a dozen, if not a dozen, different things here in the first... in this first section of the game that... In our initial playthrough, I told you, okay, I'm done. I'm checked out. Like they lost me.
I remember the first time we went down this one for the recordings. You were telling me to go forward, and I couldn't go forward because the game actually
Slows you down.
slows you down. Because they have it all scripted.
It's just like.
And every time I do this at this part, I think I'm screwing it up because
Wait!
Because you take the damage.
yeah.
And you're supposed to.
But honestly, if you're clicking fast enough, which is all it is, you can take less damage.
But what does it matter when you pick the game back up and you're in charge anyway? You're not actually damaged, are you?
No, yeah, you are.
Oh.
I believe so.
I can hear her. I can feel her clawing her way back inside of me. Get out! Leave me alone! I've been bad. I deserve this.
Yeah, I remember the first time we played, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It's lost its humor. Like, I really hate that stuff. Like, first aid sprays and herbs don't make any more sense, but I really hate that dumping alcohol on yourself. Or whatever in the fuck that is.
I can't remember if I'm supposed to walk over here.
Don't ask me. I purged everything about this game from my memory.
There we go. I think that would hurt.
I think part of another reason that you like this game, Nick, is because I'm pretty sure you've dated chicks like that.
Oh, you bitch.
Hey, I will say this. You're a hell of a lot better at this than you were last time.
I've practiced, so... Oh, you...
Well, now's your time to show off that you don't always suck at games. This is your time to shine.
Come on.
Don't fuck it up.
Got her. What have I done?
Hopefully you've progressed the game so that we can do something interesting. But yeah, I remember, what was it? How many times during our initial playthrough when we were playing it did I say, like, something would happen on the screen and I would just say, okay.
I thought you, like, bled out.
I'm like, they've completely lost me. I can't even buy into this concept. Like, all of Resident Evil, and we discussed this in the other playthroughs where you have to suspend your disbelief and you can't really take
What the fuck is going on?
you can't apply a whole lot of logic to a lot of the stuff that happens. But in this game, the amount of just disregarding of reality that you have to do is like higher for some reason, it seems.
I don't think so. Not like I said.
When we get to the part that I'm talking about specifically, the first one that did it, you can tell me how that's not more ridiculous. But we'll save it till we get there.
Oh,
So get there quickly. Yay, get out.
break this. How are you back up?
See, and they
wait a minute.
and
Fuse is down here.
they rely on these. Oh well, I just saw her. How did she teleport so fast and disappear?
I know they're trying to build suspense, and yeah.
And
the first time it worked, but
it worked on you. It never worked on me.
Ethan, it's okay. It's okay. It's me.
no, it's not. Get away from me.
No, you didn't mean to hurt me.
Yes, I did. You were trying to kill me.
Shouldn't have done that. It fucking hurts.
I hope so.
Yeah, the other thing that I didn't like in this game, and most games in general nowadays, is I don't dislike I don't dislike swearing in games, obviously, because we swear all the time, so it's not the swearing. But I dislike that it's so overused. It's so overused. It almost just seems like a
Talking
child.
about that part?
Well, no, the sawing of the arm that happens. People lose limbs in the old games all the time.
I promise.
But
Burn it all down.
the thing is that when they swear, the way that it's delivered and said doesn't feel natural. It feels like a child trying to shock its parents by cussing, you know? It doesn't seem like they're just like, look, I'm a grown-up now, I know a swear word.
I thought there was a button here.
Right there.
Oh. Oh, I'm not close enough.
You can't press it with your nub.
Now, you can't really use that as a good example because
What?
the voice acting in the original Resident Evil was not good.
Right, and I'm not saying the voice acting's the voice acting here is terrible. What I'm saying is that the dialogue as it's written just seems like it's for shock value rather than for realism.
Okay, fine.
You know? And some people are going to argue, well, in reality, they would swear. Okay, fine, I'll buy into that. But why is it that every time they choose to do it, it just seems like they choose to do it at a very specific point in time where it just seems to be more for shock value than for actual... Like, when she said it fucking hurt and threw him against the wall, that right there, the fact that she has that much of a personality is why I don't think that these monsters are as scary. That's one of the reasons. That much personality in your enemy is not scary. It's just a person. And that's part of the reason why I don't like these enemies, is because I think that they're generic stock, and I see them as just people. They're just people, and people aren't scary. I want to fight monsters in a Resident Evil game, and instead I'm fighting people. Another thing that we've discussed that I don't like in video games is I don't like human enemies. I don't like games with human enemies. I don't like first person. I don't like cover-based shooting. So when you take all that into account, it becomes really clear why I don't like a lot of games nowadays, you know what I mean? Because almost everything has a human enemy,
Leave me to die.
or cover-based mechanics, or
They're
first person.
relying on me. Everyone is.
You have gotten better at shooting. You were god awful the first time.
I was also more
I think you
frantic the first time too.
Yeah. Well, and I kept telling you, stop panicking and just shoot her, and you would be like, I'm not panicking, but you were panicking. And now you admit it, you were panicking. I don't know. I'm freely going to admit most of my complaints about this
Thank
game.
you.
The family, son.
I'm freely going to admit that most of my complaints about this game are subjective. Like, it's not necessarily flaws in the game, it's just things that I personally don't like. But it all adds up to a game that I honestly...
That is not playable for you.
Yes, completely unplayable.
Yeah.
Which
Now-
is sad because I'm a fan of Resident Evil. But that also said, Resident Evil 6 is unplayable. But that's what I'm saying is, like, I don't think, like, when I look at what Resident Evil 7 is doing and what Resident Evil 6 did, I don't see the drastic differences in improvement of gameplay that everybody else sees. Everybody else sees what 7 is doing as a improvement on 6. Okay, now we're here. We're here. How is that not more ridiculous than anything else that happens in Resident Evil? Name another main protagonist who just reattaches limbs. Multiple limbs, because he doesn't just reattach his arm.
Yeah, most of them just mutate, but...
No. Not the protagonist. Not the main characters.
Oh.
It's time for
Well,
supper.
I have my theory on that. As we get farther in the game...
This,
Oh.
but this scene right here is straight out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Eat it. It's good.
Where they have a cannibal dinner, like a dinner scene, where the cannibal family, and
Yeah.
there's a character in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 that is basically Lucas. His name's Chop Top,
Supper.
and
Yeah.
he's got a steel plate in his head.
They took all these different elements and they
Yeah,
added
but-
them together.
Oh shit, he's not eating it, Jack! He's not eating it!
Get the hell up,
I
Marguerite!
made that for him!
Get the hell out of here!
You're a son of a bitch! Oh, I can't believe it, you son of a bitch! He's not eating it!
Okay. That scene right there,
Yeah.
what was all the swearing for? What was the need for it? Shock value. They're grown up now. The series is grown up. Literally, it was just like a teenager throwing a fit.
Well, they're nuts.
God damn it!
See, that part makes me kind of nervous, but I hate the sharp object thing.
Pigs!
See,
I'm coming back for you.
why is this scary? Why? Why are people scared by this? There are like 200 horror movies with the exact same fucking thing in them.
Well,
At this point, you shouldn't be scared of this shit.
people are scared about that.
It's not. But yes, that reattaching of his limb, to me, is a shark jump moment that I just cannot get my brain behind. Like, it removed me completely from any sort of trying to take the game seriously.
So basically, from this point,
Yeah, we don't need to read any of these things.
if people want to read it, they can.
They can play the game
Play the game.
themselves.